Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I saw a really memorable series this year. It's called Trespasses. So the show follows Kushla, who is a young Catholic school teacher, and she lives with her mother, who's played by Gillian Anderson. And Kushla occasionally works in her family's pub as well. This is where she meets Michael, who is a married Protestant man, and he's a few years older than her, and she falls in love with him. So this all happens against the backdrop of Northern Ireland's troubles. Something that makes the series very interesting is Michael is also someone who defends young Catholic men who have been unjustly arrested as a barrister. And this also happens amidst one of Kushla's pupil being the son of a Protestant mother and a Catholic father. And because of this, the father is beaten pretty bad because it's considered that he married outside of his religion. The show is pretty evocative in its design set. It shows priests at the school where Kushla is teaching, adding to negative religious rhetoric, and it also shows how one individual can make a difference. So the story is adopted from Louis Kennedy's novel, which is also called Trespasses. The book was considered for the Women's Prize, set in a small town outside Belfast around 1975 during the Troubles. So the trouble is used to describe the political and religious unrest in Northern Ireland from the 1960s until 1998 when the Good Friday Agreement brought peace. The series is overall very beautiful even though it shows a lot of conflict. It shows military checkpoints, rubble filled streets, ominous silhouettes in parked cars, and basically not a moment's peace for anyone. A New York Times review states that stories set in such times and places are often described as playing out against a backdrop of violence. But Kennedy definitely reveals how violence in a conflict zone can more accurately be described as intertwined with, inseparable from daily life. Kushla looks out the window first thing in the morning and sees her neighbor, a prison officer, checking under his car for explosives. His wife was watching from the doorstep in a turquoise nightgown, holding their dog. A wedding reception has to be relocated at the last minute when the hotel where it was meant to take place gets firebombed. Kushla goes to a party with a kind, gentle co-worker. On the way there, a group of British soldiers humiliates him and drags him from the car. Trespasses is also full of wise observations about social class, the way it exists along a spectrum, so that Devi can describe Kushla's house as a mansion compared to his own, and Kushla feels uncultured and less than in the midst of Michael's sophisticated friends, whose refinement is best exemplified by descriptions of the food they eat. A buffet at a party looks spectacular but effortless, with ingredients heaped rather than arranged. This is a crowd of well-to-do Protestants who are keen to learn how to speak Irish so they might prove their open-mindedness. The Guardian says that Trespasses takes on a heartbreaking moral course as it travels. It's an illustration of how political dogma creeps and hardens, infecting community. Condemns the fact that in our world, love and even simple acts of kindness can be met with violence. It's not sentimental about romance either. The crusading handsome Michael is older and married, and he likes female company a lot. But does that change how we feel? It would be hard to argue that he's not still a good man. There is a subtle idea submerged in Trespasses that obstacles supply oxygen to the wildfire of young love. Obstacles make lovers a team against the world. It's uncomfortable to admit that sometimes we need unfairness, bad timing, intrusive pasts. If our view is unobstructed, we see more clearly how our beloveds are far from heroic, maybe even not good a lot of the time. Romeo and Juliet has a similar wisdom to it, deep inside it. I also found what another article, basically the Radio Times, wrote about the book and the series. So they basically said that Michael changes a lot during the series. When we first meet him, he is this bullish, effervescent guy who's trying to rise above the circumstances he finds himself in, and you start to see him struggle. But beyond the external influences on Michael, the real challenge happens within him. Through his relationship with Kushla and falling deeply in love with her, he must face up to himself and try and tackle pain very deep in his soul. However, at the same time, Kushla is also very interesting. The longing Kushla feels for Mike, the way she exists at his beck and call, how she hates this part of herself but but can't resist. Kushla's self-awareness makes her wonderful company. When she passes a billboard full of warnings separated by ellipses, Kushla thinks the final ellipsis leaves endless possibilities. So you guys have to read the book and see the show, but I think after you see it, this amazing phrase will make sense. So basically, what Kennedy writes is she looks at the shrouded figure one last time. The tight, precise weft of the old linen is visible through the resin, its folds voluptuous, as if it has been starched. She reaches for it, expecting it to yield to her touch, but it's hard and cold. The cast is hollow, it conveys a sense of emptiness, as if a body has rolled out of it. Kushla moves her hand to the shoulder, expecting for a mad moment to feel a bump at the collarbone, but it's not. She runs her finger down along the right arm. She runs her finger down along the right arm and covers her hand with hers. So, to sum it up, it was basically an excellent series, totally binge watchable and worth a watch, and something that you will really think about. I would like to end by quoting the book. That good, Tommy said. It was months before I opened another book. I was afraid of what I might find between the pages. And for similar recommendations, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.